10, 9. Last week sucked rocks.
Yeah, because everything looked like it was going great, and then an hour later you're like,
Yeah. Well, you made that comment of
the wrench and the monkey.
Yeah, yeah.
And there it was.
Throw it. Somehow, and I do not know. I don't know if the program had updated itself and moved a setting or something.
Okay.
But it changed the video format that it was supposed to save it in into a TS
Instead of an MP?
Instead of an MP4. And I tried everything to convert it out. I mean, I searched online.
Downloaded everything they told you to and didn't happen.
I managed to save the audio.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I could get, and that took a lot.
Ooh.
But everything, and when I clicked on it, everything, and I checked the properties and everything else, everything said no video data.
Huh.
And yet a TS is supposed to be a video format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'd never heard of it before. And so, but yeah, anyway, that sucked.
Yeah,
we had a really good...
MP, EV, there's one...
Well, there's a lot of them. It's just I'd never heard of that one, and I couldn't find
a rendering. Yeah.
Yeah, everything said no video data. Yeah, and I was mad.
I can imagine.
I was in a piss poor mood all day and part of the next day too. But it took me until Thursday to get it to where it was all set up. It was Thursday morning about noon.
Yeah.
Almost noon before I actually got the editing and everything all done so I could put it on because it was supposed to be on at 5 o'clock on Thursday.
Right.
And, so anyway. Anyhow, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of You Must Be Joking.
Right?
There he is. Anyhow, yeah. We had a really good one last week. We had, and all the video, everything worked.
Yeah.
It just couldn't save it.
Yeah.
So...
Kind of like me, can't be saved.
Yeah, like my sanity.
Well, you have to want to be, but...
Yeah, it's like my sanity. That can't be saved either. Anyway, today, I figured we would discuss the oil and gas prices.
All right. They're high. In the countries where they're not producing it, because if you go to, like, say, Iran right now, you can get 60 liters for about $3 American. But that, it's basically the pump's connected to the ground and it's just coming right out straight into your vehicle. Well, I mean, there's refining and whatnot, but they're so close to the manufacturing and it's so cheap for them to manufacture because of the slave labor that they use. Oops, did I say that out loud?
Except in the U.S. and everything, we've got the same scenario.
Oh, no.
And yet they still dick us.
Oh, no. We don't have the same scenario here. If we had the same scenario here, we would be paying $1 a gallon at the most because our dollar isn't worth very much. But we subsidize the OPEC nations for some reason. That's why we don't pay as much as they do in, say, the EU. Because in the EU, they're paying like $8 a liter. And that would be $16 to $20 a gallon here.
Yeah, that means I'm unemployed,
But I mean, we definitely have enough of our own natural gas, oil, coal, and uranium deposits that we could be energy independent 4 or 5 decades ago. But that's not what we want. What we want is to remain, is to hang on to our supply as long as possible, let everyone else run out, and then dole it out to them at exorbitant cost.
Yeah, well...
I mean, that's what I think. I mean, kind of crazy. But
yeah, well...
When you let the sociopaths run the government, then you have to think like a sociopath.
The sociopaths are the government.
Yeah.
But...
no, they're running the government. The people in government, puppets. The sociopaths are running those puppets.
Well, yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah. You must be joking.
I'll concede that one.
Thank you. What? I want an argument! No.
However, to go back to what you were saying before, no, we have the same scenario in a lot of situations. However, because like when I was driving truck across the country and everything, I would stop at the truck stop there in Sinclair, Wyoming. Okay. Now, there are oil fields all over Wyoming. I mean, you can watch the pumps out there working away, and everything. And then right there by at the truck stop, Okay, there is a refinery, Sinclair Refinery. Okay, so you can see that from the fuel pumps there at the truck stop and the gas station. They got a nice little restaurant in there too. But so you're looking at the refinery there, and then you see the trucks that comes in, says Sinclair, pull in to start filling up their tanks. Okay, and then he leaves and goes back towards the refinery. Okay, and at that time it was actually 70 cents more to get fuel right there at Sinclair than it was to go over to Fort Bridger, Wyoming,
Yeah,
which
but
is the
it's
other end of the
always been
state.
like that all around the United States. Always.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying is that, I mean, from at that point, they're pretty much pumping it out of the ground, refining it, and
Nah,
pumping it.
that refinery
there is no shipping cost there, and yet they're
That's,
still,
it's minimal, that's for sure.
you hell, put it in a bucket and carry it and stay,
But that's just it. Like, I remember in the 60s or 70s, there was this one guy that they were like painting as a lunatic, which I now see why. Because he's just like, we've reached peak oil. We're going to be out of oil by the year 1990. And it's like, well, let's see. Where does oil come from? The planet. How is it made? Through a natural process that the planet does by itself without our help. And as long as we don't interfere, well, it's going to be continuing to do that. So I'm pretty sure that the oil is still coming. But the fear tactics are what they use to make us pay these exorbitant amounts of money. That's for sure. Because we're not out of oil, and they keep finding more. And so that guy was one of the original fear mongers, I think.
No.
But still, we're still digging energy out of the ground like a caveman waiting for lightning to strike a tree to make fire.
From what we actually have right now.
And even if we go to solar and wind, we're still digging shit out of the ground to make the products that are going to be catching the renewable energy.
Yeah.
So no matter what we do as humans, we have to destroy the earth to make power for ourselves.
Here, you want to plug this in over
I mean,
there?
even if
I
we
forgot to do this.
even if we burn or chop down trees and burn them up to, for heat, that's still destroying the planet for energy.
Now, you and I, since we started doing this show, we have been talking extensively about how the government is doing everything they can to control us using fear,
Oh yeah.
and disinformation and this kind of stuff, and how Facebook and other social media posts and Bill Gates and everybody else is trying to control us, our fear, our living situation, everything about us, right? And how we continually start. In my honest opinion, I do believe that is continuing on.
Oh yeah.
And they're using this, the Ukrainian war and all the other crap and everything that's going on right now to continue that, including why we're paying so much for gas. Because there is no way in hell that we should be paying $6 a gallon or $5 a gallon or even $3 a gallon.
I can tell you why we have been sending money to Ukraine, and I can tell you why we pay so much for gas, and I can tell you why the dollar's crashing. Because we, the people of the United States, who are supposed to be custodians of this country and this planet, have failed ourselves and the world. And we're paying the price. Because the government says we're doing this, and we're just like, oh, okay. And we're doing this, oh, okay. Oh, we're doing this, oh, that's bad, but, okay.
Yeah.
So as long as we remain complacent, they're going to do what they want.
Yeah.
It's like when they put us in jail. Excuse me. I mean, when we had our lockdown. I mean, excuse me, when we had to self-isolate for the pandemic, which turned into being one of the largest wealth transfers we've ever not got to witness because we were locked in our houses. But, I'm just talking out my ass because I don't know anything.
Well, yeah, but I keep you around anyway because so every once in a
Entertainment.
while. Yeah, every once in a while you actually have a point.
Even a broken clock is right at least once a year.
Well, a broken clock can be right once a day or twice a day.
Ha
Actually.
ha!
If it doesn't say AM,
only if it's an atomic clock, bro.
No, a broken clock as long as it's not digital. If it doesn't say,
If it's not digital, how are the kids going to read it?
well, then they won't know if it's wrong or not.
Correct. It's a digital clock in my stick drive car. Can you do it? The answer is no.
But no, there is no reason why we should be paying these exorbitant amounts, other than that the government are being subsidized by the oil companies.
No, we're subsidizing the oil companies.
Well, and the oil companies are paying off the politicians to do this.
Yeah, through lobbying. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like a big circle of money
Yeah.
just moving around. And
Yeah, everybody's making theirs except the American people. Okay,
Hey, the soldiers are getting paychecks for guarding them pipelines.
well, yeah. Of course, now you're talking slave labor again.
Yeah. Whatever, man.
Yeah,
I made a pretty controversial post the other day.
there we go. I'm not going to hook up the external speakers right now.
Yeah.
But I do want to be able to allow phone calls coming in.
Oh, hey, phone calls.
You
Come
know.
on, call us. Tell us. Tell me
Yeah.
I'm wrong, because I love it when people tell me I'm wrong, but can't tell me why I'm wrong.
Well,
Speaking of the thing I did on TikTok where I was like, hey, they don't fight for my freedom. Got so many people actually having a conversation, and then there was like maybe I'm sure I offended enough people.
yeah, you
that-
usually do.
That 4 or 5 of them, or just one person, went and made 4 or 5 anonymous accounts just so they could say that my haircut's bad and my teeth are bad.
Yeah, you were telling me about
Like,
that.
thanks for bringing that to the conversation. You know what's in worse shape than my teeth? This country. You know what's easier to fix than my teeth? This country.
That I wouldn't guarantee it.
Oh yeah, the right throats get cut. Instant fix. Instant fix.
No, because there's going to be another throat standing right behind it.
Ah, see, that's when you get the right throats. I didn't say throat. I said throats, plural, because you're gonna have to take out more than just one person to end the genocide, terrorism that's happening to this country. But yeah, we got plenty of oil. We could be self-sufficient. We got plenty of natural gas. We could be self-sufficient.
Yeah,
We've
that
got plenty of coal base left. We could be self-sufficient. We have 5 or 6 nuclear plants that could be refurbished, refit, and restarted. We've got plenty of power here. We just don't utilize it. And it's funny when people are afraid of the nuclear thing. It's like, what's the difference between a nuclear meltdown on 3 Mile Island or the Valdez oil spill? Not a whole lot. It's environmental damage no matter which way you look at it, and it's unfortunate. These things happen. It's just like, hey, I got a beautiful car. Oops, someone hit my car. Now I don't have a beautiful car. These things happen.
Yeah. Well, there are so many ways to fix a lot of this. Back in the 80s, well, the 70s and 80s, in fact, they started refurbishing a lot of the forklifts, heavy equipment, to run off of propane.
Yeah, I had a Dodge that had a
Yeah.
propane converter on it.
Yeah, when I was working for this film developing company, they converted all of their vans that we were using into propane. And it burns clean. You don't get the exhaust. And and all this kind of stuff. But then they started raising the prices of propane. Of course. Yeah.
Well, you remember when we had our not the 70s one, because that's when we actually had shortages. But you remember, I think it was when we went into Iraq in 90 and 91, how the gas prices kind of jumped, but the diesel prices didn't. Everyone's like, yeah, we got a diesel car. And then about 6 months later, diesel prices were $1 above the regular gasoline prices. I was just like, idiots.
Yeah, and there's a different. This is totally off. Well, actually, it's right on the point that you just made. The funny part is is back in the day, I mean, throughout the way that they keep raping us over our fuel, okay, is they sit there and everything, and like with gasoline, originally it was all unleaded.
Yeah.
Then they started putting lead in there, saying that it was
It's helping to keep the pinging and knocking down.
well, it was a lubricant.
Oh, yeah, it's
they
perfect.
They were
Beautiful.
using it as a lubricant.
And if you put it in your wine, it tastes real good.
And then in the 70s, they decide, oh, well, we'll take the lead back out because it's been proved. Of course, now it's been in your house for paint and kids' toys, the paint on the kids' toys forever.
Yes, but it is proven that it has really dumbed us down strongly.
Well, yeah, but we've been doing that a lot to ourselves anyway.
By design.
Yeah. But anyhow, so, but then they started charging us to take the lead back out that they charged us originally to put in it.
Well,
And then, when they refine the gasoline, okay, they used to throw away the stuff that was no good. We had no use for it, and then they started using that for the bigger rigs and made diesel engines. That's what diesel was.
They had diesel way back before that. What they started to do with the stuff that they called waste was make plastic products out of it. Oh, wow, we can actually make stuff with this instead of just throwing it away.
But diesel is actually a byproduct of refining the gasoline.
It's one of the first byproducts from the refining process. So it's actually cheaper to make diesel than regular gasoline.
Yeah, and yet they decided to start making engines and everything to run off of that, and they started charging more for the diesel. And then when we started converting over to propane, they started charging more for that. Okay, the only saving grace is right now propane is still cheaper than gas or diesel.
Yeah, but very few people have a car that runs on propane.
Right.
Very few.
But a lot of forklifts and this kind of stuff
That doesn't
do
matter
run
to
off
the
of
guy
it.
who's trying to get to the job where he drives the forklift.
Right. So what they need to do and everything, but
what we need to do.
yeah. But anyhow, let's see here.
But you're talking about refining. It's hilarious to me when I see ads on TV. Exxon with Tekraline, and I watch all
all the
the vehicles
detergents. Yeah.
at the same plant that has the gas. They're all the same truck coming in and getting the same gas from the same tanks. But Exxon's got Tekraline, or Arco's got the fuel that'll make you better. It's like, no, it's all the same goddamn gas, you idiots.
Yeah. Well, I will admit that there for a while, I don't know if it still is or not, but Texaco and Chevron ran two different types of detergent. But
Well, they say
it was the
that.
same. It was the same gas.
They
But there
say
was
that.
there was a slight difference in the detergents, which is about the same as Dawn and Palmolive.
Yeah, but if they take the same gas out of the same tank and they take it to two different distributors, Exxon and
Yeah.
Chevron, just because they say it's different doesn't make it the truth.
Right.
And it doesn't mean it's in there. And you know how you know? Because there was so much negative press or whatever. I don't know, press, but people were talking about, hey, there's not a, why you charge me more? There's no additives in this gasoline. Well, now if you go to some gas stations, they have this little thing where you can push the button to pay more and have additives put in your gas because they know that it's not in when it gets to the station.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are stupid, and they're like, oh, I only go to Shell because that's where the good gas is. Well, I go to Arco because that's where the cheap gas is.
well,
Because it's the same gas.
yeah. See, I used to go to Arco all the time, because that was cheap gas.
Now I go to the Tahoma, is that what it's called? I go to the reservation and get my gas.
Yeah, well, I go I look for the prices around, but Arco is totally off my radar anymore because unless you're giving them cash, and if you give them cash,
Well,
you're still only paying a penny less.
A lot of places
Yeah.
more for credit,
Yeah,
which is hilarious.
Yeah, but
Wait until we don't have cash anymore. Then
Yeah.
they're just like, well, that's the new price.
Yeah, Arco is usually about a penny, maybe 2 pennies less if you pay cash, and yet the gas station right behind them or at the next corner and everything is a penny more than their cash price, but they're 5 cents less than their credit price.
Well, if you're over
you're
there
using your debit card.
in Fife, there's a Exxon, a Shell, and a Tahoma. And there's 3 different prices for the same gasoline on each station. Mm-hmm. I just go to the cheap one. I don't care. I don't care which one it is.
Yeah, same
I go to
here.
the cheaper one. And Arco in off of 16 heading towards Bremerton. There's one right off of 6 and I can't remember what that street is, but you take the 6 exit and you go up a little more north, and there's an Arco there that's always been cheap as hell. Like, I mean, 35 cents cheaper than all the other Arcos. It's like, what the how do you do that? It's my station. I charge what I want. That's why there's lines of cars.
Well, you know, I mean, there was a 7-Eleven down there in Fife and everything that, you know, you'd get there and everything, and you get 11 cents off, you know, by joining their club.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were so much cheaper, and then you take, you know, they were about even with everybody else, and then you take that 11 cents off,
and you get yourself another gallon. Yeah.
You know, and
that's like, you know, that's why I shop at Fred Meyer, because they got that gas point thing. I'm sure Safeway, the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, spend enough money, you can save money. Well, I don't understand how I spend money to save money, but whatever.
Well, you know, that's the same thing that women have been doing for centuries.
That's that double speak.
No, that's what women have been doing forever. It's in their
double
DNA.
speak. Double
You know, it's
speak.
the on-sale chromosome. Okay, they'll save you tons of money.
You're not
buying
saving
shit.
any money if you spent any money.
Right. Okay, but you tell that to a lot of the females that I used to date. You know, no, I got it because it was on sale. You know, it was going to be more expensive tomorrow. You know, but I got it on sale today. You know, and yet, you
Well,
know,
we could just go to the thrift store and get it for real cheap all the time.
You know, or we could go ahead and save some money on gas because you just drove 20 miles to get here when there was a store that was, you know, 2 cents more expensive next door.
Right.
Did you though? Did you save money though? Did you?
Yeah, we have enough caveman energy under us that we could be digging power out of the ground for at least another 2 centuries easily.
Yeah, well, you know, okay, they
Not to mention that we can supplement that with our renewable energies like wind and solar and tidal and
yeah, well,
dams.
do you remember how when they started transferring gas engines over as propane engines, how they were going? You know, the process to convert is not an expensive process. You know, you can, you know.
Yeah, it was. I had to change the carburetor.
Yeah.
When I went from propane back to regular gas, I just had to change the carburetor.
Yeah.
That was it.
Now,
That was it.
yeah. So my question has always been, and will continue to be, why are they still using coal to fire up our plants, our electric plants, when they could be using natural gas or propane?
Well, they do. They use natural gas. They use coal and they use the nuclear to do our power plus the hydro. So there's all those are there. It's not like they don't. They're all there. But right now, you know, since we want to keep our real energy, which is the oil and the natural gas, we will destroy this country for every ounce of coal it has just to have cheaper energy until it's time for us to really tap into our supply so we can sell it to the other countries that have run out. I wonder how many other countries have large coal supplies. I mean, I'm supposing that China would, probably Russia, but those
China
countries
has a lot of coal mines going on right now.
yeah, that's what I mean. So,
you
but
know,
like a lot of those Middle
India,
Eastern countries
yeah.
that have more natural gas and oil deposits that aren't as mountainous or something, might not have the coal deposits that we do. I don't understand.
pretty sure
I don't
that-
understand the geography of those areas.
if we've got coal deposits, I'm pretty sure that almost every country has
Would have
their
something
own.
similar?
Okay, the only one that might have a lower amount of coal than the United States would probably be Africa, because theirs turned to diamonds.
that and they have all that volcanic activity.
Yeah.
So,
Hawaii might not have quite, you know, the.
I wonder what the energy resources under the ice caps of Antarctica look like, and when that war is going to start.
Well, they're already arguing over the Arctic.
Oh yeah,
So, yeah.
for about 15 years now.
Yeah. So, but
They're like greedy Mr. Burnses. When those polar caps melt, we're getting in there with our tools and we're taking everything.
yeah, but there is absolutely no reason why we should be paying these exorbitant amounts.
You want to know 2 ways that we can stop paying that much?
Well, first of all, actually use the reserves that we have stockpiled.
Oh no.
And second of all, quit paying those prices and just shut the country down.
Yeah, well, that's the one way is to always go to the cheapest gas station selectively as a group. Everybody in the U.S. If we stop going to Exxon, they have to lower their prices to bring us back. And then you stop going to the next one, so they lower their prices lower than Exxon. Then you stop going to the next one. Or we could, as a group, go to the government and be like, hey, this has to end now. But we're too much cowards to face our government. So, whatever.
But, yeah.
You're like, why don't you go do it? Well, because if I go do it by myself, then the media calls me a terrorist, and you're like, oh my God, he was a terrorist the whole time. I didn't even know it. Well, I kind of suspected it. As opposed to going, he wasn't a terrorist. He was trying to fight for our freedoms, and we should probably stand behind him. See, that's the difference between cowards and heroes, I guess.
Yeah, well, all I can possibly say is that it's not going to get any better.
Oh, no, it's
And
completely
it
going to
could.
get worse. Well, it
You know.
could.
Well, you think about it.
If we truly wanted change would happen. But since more of us are happy with the status quo than those of us that are unhappy, change is not coming.
Yeah, well, I've already told my boss, that if I can't afford to come to work, then I won't be coming to work. So get ready to pay the unemployment, because, hell, right now. However, anybody that does want to join in on the conversation,
You
please
call on
feel
this
free.
number.
Yes, 253-254-6664. We'll put you on the air, and we can let you help us discuss what to do about this and
Yeah.
why it's like this.
Tell us an easier way than overthrowing a tyrannical government how we can get gas prices down.
We don't have to overthrow the
Yeah, we
government.
do, because if you just go and talk to your
To
senator,
fix the
you're not
country,
gonna
we
get
got to overthrow the
And
government.
to fix the country,
But
to get the
fix
lower gas prices.
no. We just got to let them know that this is not going to
Well,
happen.
what did Biden do when he got in office? He shut down the Keystone Pipeline. He cut off the contracts for any new drilling. He said stop the offshore shit.
Well, Obama did the same shit there.
I understand that.
But the point is it doesn't even matter. Without that pipeline, we still have more than enough to run everything
That
in this
pipeline
country
was
without a
shipping
rat.
stuff from the Canadian border to the Mexican coast. It wasn't like it was
Yeah.
pulling stuff from our
Right.
reserves
Yeah.
either. So
The last time we
they
had
just
any-
didn't like where it was going because it was going through, I'm gonna call it traditional land, archaic Indian land, whatever. Which hey, put a bend in the pipe and
That's
go
what I
around the
was
damn
just going
land.
to
Come
say.
on,
Yeah,
how hard is that? That's as a matter of fact, that creates jobs, right?
Yeah, that's
now
what I
someone's
was-
got to make the pipe. Someone's got to lay the plan. Someone's got to actually build it. So creating
That's what I was
jobs.
going to say, and then the property owners, hell, you go ahead and tell them, hey, I'll pay you a lease for, the property to run this pipeline, and we'll run it right through where you want it.
Yeah, and it's hilarious how we were adamant about not running it over that river, and they're like, "Oh, it's a good pipeline." And next thing you know, it's leaking into that river. Oh, gee.
Yeah, so you got people that don't want it there. You're going to end up with resistance.
Yeah.
You're going to end up with people damaging it on purpose.
And the funny part about that
But if
was
you put it where they want it,
the white community that didn't want it in their area had no problem having it rerouted around their spot, but the indigenous community that didn't want it running through their land and over the water were beaten, abused, put in cages. We basically
History repeats
said
itself.
no to them.
yeah, history repeats
Yeah,
itself.
so
Yeah. But yeah, it would have taken no big deal. Yeah, it would have cost them more money,
Yeah,
but
might have taken another year.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
But there are property owners all the way around towns that would be more than happy to get subsidies from these companies, from the government and everybody else, to
Just-
have that sucker come right through their town.
Yeah, just
and
like
through
they do
their
with the
property.
farmers when they do the big wind farms and stuff.
Well, when they did the
Can
interstate.
we lease that little corner of your land? No. We'll give you this much. Okay.
Yeah, they do the same thing with the cell towers.
Yeah, and the interstate, like you were mentioning. Yeah,
yeah,
everything.
So why
When
not
the
do it
government
with
wants
that?
to invade your land, they try and bribe you first. And if they can't bribe you, then they muscle you out.
Yeah, but I mean, they can always, like you said, put a bend in it, make a right turn, left turn to Albuquerque. I mean, it's doable.
Yeah.
It's just if you're going to sit there and screw people over, then it's going to be more difficult. If you go,
That's going to
where-
take 3 cents off of our profit margin. We can't do it.
yeah.
Greed.
So,
That's the only thing this country understands anymore is greed.
well, it isn't the country that understands
No,
it.
it's the country. It's everybody.
It's the.
I say
elite.
everybody, it's a blanket statement because you and I aren't greedy fucks that I know of.
No,
who knows?
we're needy, not greedy.
Yeah. It's like we're divided into 2 classes, the needy and the greedy. And that's how they want it.
Yeah.
Because the needy will claw each other's eyes out to try and get a little scrap while the greedy just watch us and laugh.
They will actually push us into the ring and then enjoy
Oh yeah,
watching
they're,
the
they're
fight.
making bets and
Yeah.
they're that one's my favorite pet right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, still no black owners in National Football League or American Football League.
Well,
They got close though. They got this Pakistani guy. I think he was buying the Eagles. I think, but still not black.
yeah.
Why is that? Why can't they? You would think that the majority of the players these days are black players. How come? And they make tons of money. How come they don't like get together? Kind of like is it the Steelers that is owned by the city, which is basically owned by the people? Is that the one?
I don't know.
Okay, well, why don't they do that? Why don't they get together and say, hey, we're buying a goddamn team, and this is how it's done? And then that'd be awesome because then they could hire the best players and just wipe out the league and be like, yeah, see what happens when people who want to play?
Well, one of the reasons I think that there are no black owners to sports teams is because there are no 100% black teams.
That could be true, too. That could be
Yeah,
true.
and there is nobody none of the elite that own these teams or that have anything to do with these teams wants black people to own whites.
That's absolutely true.
Oh, okay.
Because those guys are scared for some reason. Why are you afraid of being...
Yeah. Now, if it was
Why are you afraid of having people be equal to you? That's my question.
well, that's the sad part is because they're already equal. You just got to recognize it. I mean, a person is a person. People are people.
We all human.
Yeah. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. If you're a nice guy, you're a nice guy.
I'm the asshole, he's the nice guy. If you haven't been able to tell. Hey, just because you do asshole things doesn't mean you're an asshole. And just because I do nice things doesn't make me a nice person.
Okay, let me put it this way here. We'll go with you being 80% asshole.
All right.
Okay.
I'm all over it.
I'm 20% asshole.
And
Okay.
together,
which means that I'm
we're a whole ass.
yeah, which means that I'm only an asshole from the neck up.
Wait a minute. Does that mean your head is up your ass? I'm caught in a Mobius loop.
It means that I don't have to put my head up my ass to be an asshole.
I went and got a plexorectomy so I can see where I'm going.
But yeah, it's just insane that we actually allow all of this to go on.
Yeah, because we're looking at an assessment map here.
Yeah.
And that's just an assessment map up to probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, this is actually recent, but it's from the U.S. Geological Society. Okay, it's a U.S. government map. Okay, now this actually.
Oh, so it's all a lie.
This is the red is gas, the green is oil, the yellow is gas and oil.
Uh-huh.
Now these are all active wells and this kind of stuff. Now if you look out in the Gulf, you can see, we got 1 or 2 of them out there.
Just a couple.
Yeah, and but all the way through, even over here into California, okay, from southern almost to the Southern California border, all the way up past Sacramento into Redding.
Yeah.
Okay, they've got
Deposits.
natural gas.
Yeah.
Okay, they've got they do have some oil. Okay, all the way back in through here. Now this isn't going into the the ones that are so disputed, okay, where they're going, oh, that we got a whole bunch here, no we don't, this kind of stuff. Okay, now But we do have a lot. Now, this is according to the government's geological surveys. Okay. So we're actually loaded. I mean, look, if you look at the map, that's about 1/3 or more of the country is loaded with natural gas, oil, or both.
And that's just from the most recent surveys
Yes.
records,
Right.
because they might not even be looking right now. And there's probably, see that big empty spot under Minnesota, there's probably some right there.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's everywhere.
Well, you figure if you got that much right here, but in the Great Lakes, then I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be quite a bit right here.
Yeah, well, you see how empty that spot is. That's unsurveyed area,
Well, you know why?
as far as they tell us,
You know why, don't you?
because they want to save it for later.
No, because it's freaking cold out there.
Not during the summer.
Yeah, both days.
Yeah. Get out there during summer on that Tuesday. Get your sonar out.
Yeah, you might be.
Ground penetrating radar.
Yeah, but you're going to have to spend a lot of money just trying to thaw out the ground to drill through it. Because
That's Alaska.
that's cold, man.
We don't have tundra that low down.
But yeah, so anyway, and then I was looking through several different deals, and this actually does fairly much verify what it was saying on the map, or what
Right.
it was showing.
Yeah.
Okay. And everything. Now there are some disputes about how much there is and this kind of stuff.
Well, of course.
In fact, who do you want to believe? Do you want to believe the CNN money survey? Or do you want to go by the fact checkers?
I'm going to go by the person that doesn't have any bias or anything to lose or gain from it, so neither of them.
Yeah, there was another fact checker site that I went to and everything that was talking about a mass email that was going out, talking about the same thing, about the this large area of untapped oil reserves, and. But they, and so they were backing up these guys here. But they also, right at the very beginning of it, said, that they were that they had to update that and everything because with the fracking and all this kind of stuff, then that did put it up to where we were.
Yeah, it
about
changes
even
the
with
data.
Yeah. So anyway,
So like I said, we never really had as much as them, but now that we found new ways to suck that stuff out the earth,
there it is.
they'll call it comparable. But see, and again, you're looking at this thing. Oh, look, we're the greatest. See, we're even above Russia. Yeah, whatever. tell your lie to someone that wants to believe it.
Now, see, I don't really care about that, but the point is, if we were even down here, we're setting. We're set. We ain't got to worry about it
half
for
that.
a long time.
Half that. Still
Yeah.
independent for at least 2 centuries, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with the way they're going with, better combustion engines and the electric car and the hybrid cars. That means you're using less fuel, which, even if it's expensive as hell, you're still not burning it up as fast as we did back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. Now, why not take a hybrid car and everything and say, okay, let's not bother with gas. Let's make it propane to run that auxiliary generator. And, there you go.
Now it's even cheaper.
Well, not only that, but you don't have the greenhouse gases being put out either because there's no carbon monoxide sent out by the propane. That's why they're able to run it inside the warehouses and stuff because it doesn't put it out. It's clean burning. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It just smells funky.
Well, the only thing, when it comes to actually burning the propane and everything,
I think it's because they put that stink in there, don't they?
Yeah, they put
Yeah.
the stink in because it's odorless,
Yeah.
But once it's been burned, I actually kind of like that smell.
The burnt egg or whatever it is. Yeah, because it's odorless, so that you won't know if you're asphyxiating yourself unless it's got that smell on it.
Right.
because
That's why they do it.
anything that's not oxygen will kill you, and even too much oxygen will kill you. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's like,
It's amazing.
if I don't get enough air, I die. If I get too much air, I die.
Yeah.
You're telling me that's intelligent design?
Yeah. So what I propose to do and everything is go ahead and do your hybrid cars instead of fully electric, your hybrid trucks instead of fully electric. But you know how Hot rods. Okay, a lot of the hot rods and everything, they'll run six
top
packs.
fuel funny cars?
Well, yeah, they'll run 6 packs or trip deuces. I really like the trip deuces. Okay, especially when each one of them have their own fuel pump and they're all set on a toggle switch.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That was about 8 gallons.
Yeah. But can you imagine doing that again, only having, two barrel carburetors on the auxiliary deal, and you got one that runs gasoline, one that runs propane. When gasoline is cheaper, flip the switch, you go ahead and fill it up with gasoline. When the propane is cheaper, you flip it over to propane.
Well, isn't that what they were trying to sell those flex fuel cars as? You can put any of the gases that are at the pump in it.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that flex fuel. Does that mean if I accidentally put diesel in it, it's still going to run? Because it doesn't seem like it would.
It doesn't.
It
At least
wouldn't.
no engine I've seen will run both.
So I'm just like, what do you mean?
Considering
What do you mean by flex fuel?
a normal combustion engine, they have spark plugs,
Uh-huh.
and but a diesel engine has
Runs on
glow
pressure
plugs.
and a glow plug.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of difference there. Now if there's some way of running both, again with the toggle switch, except
Yeah, or a separate tank.
separate fuel injectors, then okay.
Now
I
you
can
got
see
a
that.
triple size car because you got 3 different tanks in it because you don't know what kind of fuel you're going to be buying because you don't know what's cheaper where you are because you just came off the freeway and you're like, oh shit, that's too expensive. Let's go to the next one. Well, I should have stopped there because it was cheaper for that particular fuel back there, but this one's now too expensive. So
Yeah.
How about just electric cars?
Well, there again, how far can you go? 200 miles?
Well, see, here's the thing.
And then it takes you 6 hours.
When
8
they
hours to
first
charge
started
it.
making cars, they made electric cars.
Yeah.
And they had charging stations for those electric cars in New York back in the late 18 and early 1900s. They had electric cars. And this is Ford building these cars, and Tesla's working on these on the power of the country, with these
Yeah.
Tesla coils and stuff. And then what's his nuts? The guy that stole everyone's ideas, Edison, working on batteries. Now, if they would have worked together instead of being mortal enemies, imagine if we had electric cars the entire time they were making cars with the advancements. Just compare it to, like, say, the cell phone that went from a big block to a teeny tiny thing where it had no screen, and then we were like, well, we want to watch porn, and now it's kind of about this size and we got a screen. It's advanced quickly. Or how about the fact that the first flight was in December of 1903, the first the Wright brothers, and then by 1969 we're walking on the moon. How fast of an advancement is that? So if we would have stuck with the electric cars from the beginning instead of falling prey to Standard Oil,
Yeah.
we'd probably be in cars that can go, across
Jetsons.
the country on a charge by now.
Yeah.
But am I dreaming? Yeah. Is it a possibility? Yeah, we don't know. But we've been stifled by the corporations that need to eat every inch of this earth and make us pay for it. Because like the breaking up of AT&T. AT&T was a large monopoly for a long time.
You mean Ma Bell?
Ma Bell, AT&T.
That was after it broke up.
Pacific
18
Bell.
Yeah.
So
Well, there was Pacific and Atlantic.
yeah. So when they broke up AT&T, and I use that because people recognize AT&T. Yeah, it was another company. It was a monopoly, and they were like, "Well, you can't live without us. You're gonna fail without us." Once they broke them up, but once AT&T was smashed into, once MCI started, AT&T said, "No, we're not going to let you use our long distance stuff for your thing," because MCI was trying to give them the half, and that's what made the congressional thing, which made them break up the monopoly. And as soon as AT&T was broken up, all of a sudden you get voice recorders. You get you get all kinds of hardware that you're
Caller
plugging into
ID.
the thing. Caller ID. You get all kinds of things that you can now plug into these lines that they weren't allowing you to plug into the line. And if we hadn't have broke up AT&T when we did, we probably still wouldn't have the internet today.
Mm-hmm.
So Let's break up some monopolies. Let's get rid of Bill Gates. Let's get rid of Elon Musk. Let's get rid of Branson. Let's get rid of these. Let's
don't
get rid
really
of these
see them as
monopolies.
monopolies, though.
I do. You know how I see them as monopolies? They got all the money.
That doesn't matter.
Sure it does.
No, Howard Hughes had a huge amount of money, and he wasn't a monopoly. He didn't own the only airplanes.
Yeah, but he was a nutcase, just like they all are.
Now, there you go. Just because they're crazy doesn't make them a monopoly.
Yes, but
otherwise you and I would
Howard
be a monopoly.
Hughes wasn't as evil as Elon Musk and Bill Gates
No,
and
he was too paranoid.
Bezos.
He was too paranoid.
Exactly, but these guys are not afraid, and they'll stand there blatantly tell you, hey, we want to end life on this planet.
You call this life?
I do, because I am breathing air and I am conscious of myself. So, yes,
Yeah, well, I'm married with children, so
that's your mistake, not mine.
yeah. There's a
was your
difference
choice.
between life. I'm just joking. I'm happy being married.
Yeah.
Usually. Well,
For 3 seconds, once every 2 weeks.
like I said down at the club, I've been happily married for 10 years, 10 out of 16 is pretty good,
Yeah, it's better than half, so
yeah.
you're working.
Hell, of course, it hasn't been all at once, but
Because like Bill Gates, he owns a lot of American farmland, like 250,000 acres. And he and his cohorts were like over in India a few years ago, just running farmers out of work. I mean, like 11,000 farmers committed suicide 2 years ago because of what Gates and the big businesses were trying to do to the farmland over there, forcing them to use these particular seeds, trying to make them run by these binary rules and shit. Here's a cell phone. We're tracking everything you're doing, but we're also taking all that information so that we can do this with it. And then you got Elon Musk, who's got a 4,200 satellites around the world right now for his big whatever cell phone release, but he makes the best tunnel boring machines that we have. Do you know that?
no, but he should have been in Seattle.
Well,
doing
he
that.
makes the best tunnel boring machines we have. So yeah, Bill
Anyway.
Gates making, he's got that farmland. He's screwing with those farmers over there. I guess he's trying to figure out how to make super crops.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, go lay down.
he's also doing the lab grown meat, the bio meat, and he's doing the bio milk, the formula,
Go lay down. No. Lay
Now,
down.
supposedly under Denver Airport, there's an underground city, and so these are all over the place. So I the other day I was kind of thinking about this in a super paranoid way. I was like, how do you conspiracy theory this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's kind of easy to put this together. The super rich are going to go to Mars, and then the elites that are left here are going to go underground, and the rest of us are going to just kill ourselves on the surface until we're all gone, and then the Georgia Guidestones will come true. It's not that far of a leap in the state of the condition of the world right now to see that as a reality. And that's the sad part.
Well, they've been making movies about that kind of stuff forever.
They're like, hey, guess what's going to happen? And we're just like, that'll never happen. Hey, guess what's happening? That's not happening. And then yeah. Well, I guess it's already here, so we should just go with it. God, people are so stupid and complacent.
Yeah, complacency is not a good thing. But we could make some serious changes.
We
Things
could.
be different, and
Yeah.
we could be very good about it. But
Well, if equality was a real thing, if equality was spread around the world, we would probably have a better planet. But right now there's justice inequality. I can't even say it. It's so inequality. There's judicial inequality. There's political inequality. There's policies that are unequal to everyone, with systemic problems just ingrained in every bill that's written on lots of legislation around the world, not just the U.S. Hey, I'm done. So, and then the economic inequality. And it's funny, so the other day I was Googling, how much money is there on the planet? It's like 1.54 trillion. And how many people? 800 million. So if the money was distributed equally, how much would everybody get? $2,000 one time. So it's not like that will solve the problem.
no. it's ridiculous. in a way
Because I have my share already. Bummer.
Yeah, but we do need to actually get our heads out of our tails
Mm-hmm.
and stand together as a country. And I don't mean the government representatives, because they don't represent.
Yeah.
But the people ourselves
And the real hard
need
part
to
about
stand
that.
up to what's going on and say no more. Okay.
Yeah, but the hard part about that is each community is a little bit different. So these people's needs is different than these people's needs. But when they don't see eye to eye that they both have needs and they can both be realized, that's where we really start getting our problems, because that's where they put the division in us. Oh, and we're never going to get our thing. So we're fighting against each other instead of going, well, those are good ideas. I have some good ideas. Let's try to work together to make both ideas work for each of us as needed, as opposed to, no, my ideas are better. Your ideas are shit. The government said so.
Yeah. Well, see, if the government said so, then I win.
Exactly. Here's my guns. I'm sorry. Here's my guns.
Yeah, that's totally ridiculous, right there. Well, in fact, we'll finish up with that one.
All right.
Okay? Yeah, this whole thing, if they're gonna do gun control. You want to control guns, then make sure everybody's got one.
And trained.
Yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with knowing how to use a tool. Took me about 6 weeks to learn how to use a skill saw with real good accuracy.
Yeah. Now it's true. Okay, you give everybody a gun. There are going to be, just like the old
Still
West.
going to be murders.
There's
Still
going to be
gonna
gunfights.
crime.
Yeah, but there's not going to be these mass shootings. There's going to be.
Oh no, those will still happen. See, that's what people don't understand. All the crime that we have is not going to stop whether you're armed and he's not, or whether everyone's armed. It doesn't matter. If no one has weapons, there's still going to be death. There's still going to be murder. If everyone has weapons, there's still going to be death. There's still going to be murder, and there's still going to be mass shootings, because they call it three people. If 3 people get shot, that's a mass shooting in the idiocy that we live in. But hey, and again, more than one. Okay, bad. I get it. I understand. But you cannot stop the arrogance, the hubris, and the evil, innate evil in some people.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah. Well, I still think that a lot of that has to do with our judicial system being so lenient. And like right now, the police have no rights, but the criminals have all kinds of.
Oh, the criminals have always had more rights than the actual victims and the police.
Yeah. So, well, in fact, we were talking.
What about harsher sentences? Like, if a pedophile is caught in the act, why even take him to court? If a murderer is caught in the act, why even take him to court? Why waste the taxpayers' dollars on finding him guilty, putting him in jail for 15 plus years because he gets to appeal for 6 or 7 years?
Well, in that one, I will say that there are instances.
Yeah, 1 in 4 people on death row is supposedly innocent.
No.
Those are odds I can live with.
I'm not.
Am I a bad person? Probably.
That's not what I was going to say. The point I was going to make is, depending on the circumstances, because if that pedophile came and got my daughter, then you're probably going to catch me killing that son of a bitch.
And I'll help you. I'll watch you.
Right.
I'll make sure no
But
one
now-
interferes.
But now we're caught committing murder.
No, we're
So
not.
now
No,
we're
we're
going
not.
to be executed.
No, that's
because-
not murder.
Yeah, it is.
No, it didn't.
Well, legally, it would be considered murder.
By definition.
Yes, but it would also be justice that we're dealing out.
That's what they call justified homicide, sir.
Yeah. So,
Killed him in the middle of a passionate roar.
now personally, when it comes to pedophilia, I would say no. That is what the prison system is for.
No, those people don't deserve to live. Men or women that commit pedophilia, crimes like that, get rid of them immediately.
Because they're the ones that go into the general population and become the bitches, and to where they're the ones being abused.
I don't even think they deserve that much leniency.
Yeah. I would just as soon let them suffer, because to me that is just one of the most heinous
then-
crimes there is.
Then give them the death of 1,000 cuts. Let them know that they're dying.
Have them neutered first, and then put them in prison.
Well, see, now that's another one. We could neuter them, let them go back out, but then they still might offend. Because,
Neuter them and put them in prison. They ain't going to offend anybody.
all right, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Now they-
Neuter them, put them in general population.
Yeah.
You better toughen up, son. All them weak people you were attacking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
you know, rapists, murderers, pedophiles.
Yeah.
Someone steals a car, give them a year.
Depending on the car.
And depending on the circumstances. Depending on the circumstances.
Yeah.
Because there's always something that leads to what's going on. I mean, if this is a guy that's just stealing cars for fun, does it all the time, gone. 10, 15 years. But if they stole a car one time because they were drunk and they were with their friends and it was, did you learn your lesson? No? Well, here's a year in jail. Now you learn. You get to go in general with all the gay people and pedophiles.
Well, that's like, what was it?
Listen, I honestly
Kenny Chesney and there was a couple
don't
others.
know how to fix the judicial
They ended up
system
stealing
in
the
this
police
country.
horses and everything and taking off on the horses. You know, they were country singers. They ended up stealing the cops' horses and took off. You know,
That's police abuse, sir.
yeah, you know, but you know, so
Isn't that funny that if my dog goes out of my yard near a cop, he can shoot it and it's fine, but if I'm suspected of doing something and they release one of their hounds on me and I try and defend myself from it, that's assaulting an officer.
well, yeah. But I'm sorry, I'm going to assault the officer. If it comes up there, starts biting my leg, I'm going to rip its throat out.
Dog
That's
starts
all-
biting me, I'm probably going to knock it out and beat the owner with its lifeless corpse.
Yeah, I will. I will kill a dog that bites me. You know, unless I've done something to deserve it,
like bit its ear.
or if it's, or if
Hey, will
it's,
this dog bite me if I fuck with its tail?
then I deserve it. You know, yeah. Anyway, that's about all the time
What?
we've got.
Man,
Yeah.
that was a quick one.
Yeah,
Jesus.
amazing, isn't it?
When you actually have something to talk about.
Anyhow, if anybody has any comments or questions or whatever, please feel free. Email us, Gary at rubberchickenradio.com
Or veg at rubberchickenradio.com. Please tell me how wrong I am. Come on!
You can also just call in and leave a voicemail or text in at 253-254-6664.
Yep.
And you can catch this guy on NWCZ Radio, Channel 1, at 6 o'clock
On Tuesdays.
on Tuesdays.
Yep.
And you can catch this show also on NWCZ Radio at 7 o'clock. on
right
Tuesdays.
afterwards. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, one-stop shopping there.
Yep, yep. If you didn't like what I said before, you can like it even less later. But at least we'll have one intelligent voice on the second hour.
Who's going to be there?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. you got my hopes up.
Sinjo.
Anyway, thank you all for watching.
Bye, Facebook.
Goodbye, everybody.
Enjoy your sequestering.
Howdy, friends and neighbors. Your Kentucky salesman Gary again. I'm here to talk to you today about one of the best inventions since sliced bread. In fact, it goes great with sliced bread. I'm talking about Kentucky jelly. Just spread it on some toast or a biscuit and start enjoying the most unique flavor you've ever had. True, it don't taste that great, but it's the first jelly with multiple uses. Now, we've all had this happen, where your St. Bernard or your Great Dane gets stuck in the cat door. Well, just smear some of this on its fur and watch it shoot through like a wet bar of soap in a prison shower. Now, fellas, do you have a hard time telling your lady how much you care? Is it difficult to say, I love, or I love you, cars? Well, no more. Put some Kentucky jelly on a biscuit and words will come flying right out of your mouth like an unstoppable locomotive. I tried telling my wife on our anniversary how much I cared, and I couldn't do it until I put some on toast. Just one bite and I love you, and you're so beautiful, and I'm so horny came sliding right out. Disclaimer, friends, don't use too much. You might start telling her you love her, her sister, her mother, her brother. That very seldom ever goes well.
Well, there you have it. Remember, friends, nothing says I love you to a biscuit like Kentucky jelly.